If you're watching this right now, pause for a moment. This may not be random. Carl Jung believed that when the unconscious is ready for change, meaning appears as coincidence. So if this video reached you during a moment of uncertainty, exhaustion, or quiet awakening, it may be reflecting something already moving inside you. There are moments in life when something finds us, not because we search for it, not because we planned it, but because something inside us shifted. According to Carl Jung, these moments are not accidents. He called them synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that occur when the inner world and outer world align. You may feel tired lately, disconnected from old roles, less interested in what once mattered. This is not failure. It is transition. Jung believed the psyche moves in cycles. When an old identity has served its purpose, it begins to feel uncomfortable. The routines that once kept you safe now feel heavy. The expectations you once met now feel false. So the unconscious looks for language. It sends dreams, restlessness, and sometimes messages like this. If this video found you, it may be because a chapter is closing, not dramatically, quietly. And quiet endings are often the most important. One of the most unsettling experiences is realizing that what used to work no longer does. You may still be doing the same things, living the same life, surrounded by the same people, yet something feels misaligned. Jung believed this discomfort appears when the psyche is ready to individuate, to move beyond borrowed identities and unconscious roles. The persona you built to survive may now feel restrictive. The compromises you made may now feel draining. The life you inherited may no longer feel like yours. This is not because something is wrong with you. It is because something is awakening. The unconscious does not shout when change is needed. It withdraws energy. It removes satisfaction. It creates unease, not to punish you, but to guide you. If this video reached you now, it may be reflecting a simple truth. You are no longer meant to live the way you once did. And that realization, though unsettling, is the beginning of something deeper. Before clarity arrives, heaviness often appears. You may feel unmotivated without being depressed, restless without knowing why, emotionally full, yet unable to name what you're carrying. According to Carl Jung, this phase marks an encounter with the shadow, the parts of yourself that were pushed aside to maintain stability, belonging, or identity. The shadow does not appear to harm you. It appears when you are strong enough to face it. Old emotions resurface, unfinished grief, suppressed anger, unlived desires. This can feel like regression, but it is not. It is integration beginning. Jung believed that when the psyche prepares for a deeper level of wholeness, it brings forward what was left behind. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is random. If you feel emotionally heavier lately, it may be because your psyche is retrieving what was lost, not overwhelm you, but to complete you. This phase asks for patience, not solutions. Confusion is often mistaken for failure, but in Jungian psychology, confusion is a threshold state. It appears when the old map no longer works, but the new one is not yet visible. You may question your direction, your relationships, your purpose. This uncertainty is uncomfortable because the ego wants certainty, but the unconscious works differently. It dissolves before it rebuilds. Jung warned that clarity that arrives too quickly is often borrowed, not earned. True insight comes only after ambiguity is tolerated. If your life feels unclear right now, it does not mean you are lost. It means you are between identities, between who you were and who you are becoming. The psyche is reorganizing, and reorganization always looks like chaos from the inside. Eventually, something settles. Not answers, but alignment. You stop forcing clarity. You stop rushing decisions. You stop trying to return to who you were. You begin to listen instead. You realize that what felt like loss was preparation. What felt like confusion was transition. What felt like emptiness was space. Space for something more truthful. You understand now why this message reached you. Not because it promised certainty, but because it mirrored your inner state. This is how meaning works. It appears when you are ready to recognize it. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not late. You are in process. And that process is intelligent. One of the quiet signs of inner transformation is a loss of motivation for things that once defined you. You may notice that ambition feels different now. Not gone, but hollow when aimed at the wrong things. Tasks you once pushed through now feel heavy. Goals you once chased feel strangely empty. This is not laziness. It is a psyche withdrawing energy from identities that no longer reflect who you are becoming. The unconscious does this deliberately. When a path has reached its limit, motivation is removed so that you cannot continue unconsciously. This is how growth enforces honesty. You are not meant to force yourself forward right now. You are meant to notice what no longer calls you. This pause is not stagnation. It is discernment. The psyche is teaching you to move only when something is real. As this shift deepens, many people experience a subtle increase in solitude, not necessarily physical isolation, but emotional distance. Conversations feel shallow. Old connections feel strained. You feel present, yet not fully engaged. This is not because you're withdrawing from life. It is because life is rearranging around a deeper center. When the unconscious reorganizes, it temporarily pulls energy inward. Social roles lose urgency. External validation loses importance. You may feel misunderstood without being mistreated, alone without being abandoned. This phase often teaches discernment. Who can meet you in stillness? Who needs constant performance? Who listens without needing you to be smaller? The answers emerge quietly. Solitude at this stage is not punishment. It is recalibration. One of the hardest lessons in this phase is learning to trust timing. You may want clarity now, direction now, relief now, but inner change does not obey urgency. The psyche unfolds like nature, in cycles, not commands. Seeds germinate unseen. Roots grow before branches appear. Nothing emerges before it is ready. This is why forcing decisions now feels wrong. Your intuition is asking for patience, not passive waiting, but attentive listening. You are being shaped for something that requires depth, not speed, and depth cannot be rushed. If this message reached you now, it may be because you are being asked to trust the intelligence of your own becoming. You are not drifting. You are ripening. After confusion, after heaviness, after withdrawal, something subtle begins to emerge. A quiet knowing, not a plan, not certainty, but orientation. According to Carl Jung, this is the moment when the ego loosens its grip and the self begins to guide. You may not know where you're going, but you know what is no longer right. You start trusting small signals. What drains you? What feels false? What quietly restores you? Your decisions slow, but they deepen. You stop asking, "What should I do?" and start asking, "What aligns?" This inner compass does not shout. It corrects gently. And once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. One of the most noticeable changes at this stage is the disappearance of urgency. You no longer feel rushed to prove, to arrive, to become. The pressure to keep up fades. This does not make you passive. It makes you precise. Jung believed that meaning emerges only when life is no longer driven by fear. When urgency dissolves, what remains is intention. You begin choosing depth over speed, truth over approval, alignment over momentum. This is when life starts responding differently. Opportunities feel quieter, but more fitting. People appear who do not require performance. Moments feel weighted with significance. You realize that meaning was never something to chase. It was something to listen for. And now you are listening. Eventually, everything that felt scattered begins to settle, not into answers, but into coherence. You understand why this message reached you, not as a promise, not as instruction, but as confirmation. Confirmation that you are not lost. You are not late. You are not broken. You are in a necessary passage. The psyche does not rush what is becoming real. It prepares quietly, thoroughly, with care. You are being shaped from the inside. And when the next step appears, you will recognize it, not because it is loud, but because it feels true. Trust this process. It knows more than fear ever did. Thank you for listening. Until next time, take care of what is truly yours.